Shirik shirik yenten Shiyin rikbi yenten
Dajin lok tu tulu Meta maybe norbu Shirik yenten ino Dajin lok tu tulu Meta maybe norbu Shirik yenten
Kuzuzangpala to all the listeners across the country. I am Nobuzam from Kurthang Middle Secondary School. This radio program is to reach to all the children across the nation. The lesson for today is for Class 2 Mathematics on the topic addition. I hope you all have the self-instructional material and your pencil ready. Now, you all know what addition means, right? It means putting together or counting together. When we add numbers, we get a sum. The answer for addition is called sum, right? S-U-M, sum. Alright, let's start our lesson then. You all have learned how to add tens in class 1, right? Let us recall that and do the first activity. So if you look at the instruction for activity 1, it says, complete the following addition sentences. There is an example given to help you understand the instruction better. The example says, 3 tens plus 2 tens. Now, if you look at 3 tens and 2 tens, both are tens, right? So, 3 plus 2 equals to 5. And so, 3 tens plus 2 tens equals to 5 tens, right? Now, having gone through the example, can you try to solve the two questions that are given below? Question 1 of activity 1 says 6 tens plus 3 tens. What is the sum? You have to find that out. Add 6 and 3 and you will get your answer. Question 2 of activity 1 says 5 tens plus 1 ten. Find the sum for this as well. Can you try it on your own? You can check the example to help you. Remember, both the numbers are tens. Now let us move on to activity number 2. You have learned how to use base 10 blocks to represent numbers, right? So, for this activity, we will use base 10 blocks to add the numbers. Let's read the instruction for activity 2. It says, add using base 10 blocks as given in the example. And there is an example given to help you through this activity. The addition problem in the example is 2 tens, 3 ones plus 1 10 and 5 ones. 2 tens and 3 ones means 23, right? And 1 10 and 5 ones means 15, right? So, we have to add these two numbers. For that, let us represent these two numbers using base 10 blocks. First, let's represent 2 tens and 3 ones. We will use 2 tens blocks and 3 ones blocks. That is, 2 rods and 3 units. Can you see that in the picture? Now let's represent the second number. That is, 1 10 and 5 ones. For that, we will draw 1 tens block and 5 ones blocks. That is 1 rod and 5 units. Now let us put the blocks together. 3 ones blocks and 5 ones blocks, when put together, we have 8 ones blocks. 2 tens blocks and 1 tens block put together is 3 tens blocks. So now we have 3 tens blocks and 8 ones blocks all together. That makes 3 tens and 8 ones. That is 38. So 2 tens, 3 ones plus 1 tens, 5 ones equals to 3 tens, 8 ones. That is 38. Isn't that easy? Now that we have gone through the example, can you try to solve the next 2 problems? You can look at the example when you need help. The first question of activity 2 says 1 10, 3 ones plus 4 tens, 2 ones. Remember, represent these 2 numbers using the base 10 blocks first, then put them all together. The second question of activity 2 says 3 tens, 2 ones plus 2 tens, 2 ones. Again, represent these 2 numbers using base 10 blocks first and then count them together. Now that we have learned how to add using base 10 block models, let us move on to the third activity. Look at activity number 3. The instruction says, add using place value chart. We have already learned how to use a place value chart, right? Do you remember how to represent numbers in a place value chart? Well, if you do, that's great. But even if you don't, there is no need to worry. On the right side of the instruction, there is an example given to help you with this activity. Can you see it? The problem in the example is 43 plus 29. So, we have to add these 2 numbers using a place value chart. For that, first we draw a place value chart. The numbers we have to add are of 2 digits, right? So, we draw 2 columns for our chart. The first column on the right is for the ones place. So, we write ones there. O-N-E-S, ones. The second column on the left is for the tens place. So, we write tens there. T-E-N-S, tens. Now, let's place the numbers. The first number is 43. That is 4 tens and 3 ones. So, we put 3 in the ones place and 4 tens, 4 in the tens place. The second number is 29. That is 2 tens and 9 ones, right? So, we put 9 in the ones place and 2 in the tens place. Then, don't forget to place the addition sign. Now let's add the numbers. Remember, we always start with the ones first. So, 3 ones and 9 ones equals to 12 ones. 4 tens and 2 tens equals to 6 tens. We have 6 tens and 12 ones. Now, look at the ones. We have 12 ones there. Is it okay to leave 12 in the ones place? No, right? We can only have 1 digit in each column. So what do? We have to regroup the ones now. 10 ones make 1 tens, right? So we regroup 12 ones as 10 ones and 2 ones. 12 is 10 and 2, right? 10 ones then becomes 110. So now we have 6 tens plus 1 tens and 2 ones. Then we put the tens together. That is 6 tens plus 1 10 is equal to 7 tens. And we also have 2 ones there. So the sum for 43 plus 29 equals to 7 tens and 2 ones, that is 72. Now that we have learned to use place value charts to add numbers, can you try to find the sum for the following numbers? The first question for activity 3 is 55 plus 17. And the second question is 15 plus 12. To help you, the place value charts have already been drawn and the numbers have also been placed. All you have to do is add the numbers correctly and regroup if required. Then place the answers correctly in the place value chart. So children, in today's lesson, we have learned how to use base 10 block models and place value chart to add 2-digit numbers, right? And to check your understanding of today's lesson, you have been given a self-check for learning task. There, you are asked to find the sum for the following numbers. The first one is 30 plus 20. The second one is 10 plus 13. To find the sum, you can use any of the 2 methods given above. You can use base 10 block models or the place value chart. To check your answers for the 3 activities and also for the 2 questions of the self-check for learning task, you can refer to the answers given at the very end of this lesson. Reverse the page to see the answers. That brings us to the end of this lesson. We will continue in the next lesson. Till then, stay safe, stay clean, keep washing your hands. Goodbye.
Sherik sherik yenten Sheyin rikpi yenten
Dajin lop tu tulu Meta me binurbu Shirik yenten ino Dajin lop tu tulu